Okay, so we're gonna take Emilie into Stygian today, and she's gonna perform pretty well, I would say. So the main thing with Stygian here is that we have Mavuika. So the main issue I see with Stygian here is that Emilie is nowhere near necessary. And that's kind of where I don't want to hate this character. I like the character. I like her design. It's just that she doesn't do enough. Because if you've looked at her best in slot teams, she has, well, her best in slot teams is different from actual characters' best in slot teams. If we look at Arlecchino, for example, Emilie's not on her best in slot team for obvious reasons. That is the issue. And it's not even just that, Emilie's not on the best in slot teams. It's that she's not even on the best in slot teams by a large margin. There is a very high amount of, we went from, 3 million damage to 1.5. Like, it's actually a 50% DPS or a decrease if you just use this character instead of, like, Sea Lolly or something for Arlecchino, right? And that is where I'm like, I don't really see the point in running Emilie, because this character oftentimes when you use her is just going to make your team weaker. This is the only team where she actively can, not do that, right? Where she can go ahead and she could do a lot. Now, we could see here, look at all the, pyro hits, right? Yeah, it's working out pretty well. We got all the pyro hits going on. She's going to work out very well. I'll show my updated build. I did switch her to Deepwood for this because she's hitting 12,000. You could see the damage that she's doing is not bad. I just realized I could technically be doing a rotation here because I completely forgot that, this actually, we're using a Dendro character, so we don't have to wait till the last phase here. So we see Kinich there hit 290. That's partly because Emilie is on Deepwood here. And we have all of this damage up. Let's go ahead and pop a Emilie Q here, and we can see her damage, hopefully, if it crits. Yeah, okay, so 38,000 is what we see. Not great, if I'm being entirely honest. I say, not great, but I honestly don't know how many times that hit. I don't. It was hitting quite a lot, all right? I could assume maybe like 200,000 damage maybe from that. I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to hate Emilie. I feel like I definitely am with you guys. I've been too harsh on this character. I don't know what it is. It's just like this character awakens something in me. And I'm like, I hate this character. I don't get it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So like 4 hits, maybe 5. Yeah, I get it. And then, yeah, this is super easy. Just clean up. Then you're done, right? I get it. Oh, this is new. They updated it? Oh. Huh, that's interesting. That is a weird update that they just randomly did, right? Like, yeah, I don't really care. That's an interesting update that they did. It is. Okay. Now, we're gonna go ahead and try this again just because I didn't really do that well that run. I want to see Emilie's power if we just go ahead and give her the proper, things that we want to do, right? So let's go ahead. Let's see if we can just, get through here. We're already halfway through. It's working out very well. It is important to note, like, I feel like I'm going to have to say this. A lot of people do not realize that, I want to get the 40% damage bonus. A lot of people don't realize that, Emilie is not necessarily the only Dendro character who can trigger burn. I feel like, you can just use Nahida here instead. Like, a lot of what people, say are advantages of Emilie also are just advantages of using burn. It just kind of, it goes with the character, right? She's a burn support, right? It makes sense. We're gonna have her go ahead and we'll pop her Q. So we're going to pop her Q here, and I'm going to see how much damage we can get out of here. So let's see how much damage. So 29, 29, 29, only 3 29s, really? All right, let's just go ahead and finish this off then. That really wasn't an impressive amount of damage there, if I'm being entirely honest. Yeah, so 29,000, when we do our full rotation setup, right? So let's go over my build here, I guess. Where is it? So I have a new build for my Emilie right now. I did switch her over to Deepwood, right? So this is what her build is looking like. So I would say it's a lot heavier on the higher crit damage now, because I think we had like 130 or something, and then we also have 7% more crit rate. So overall, the Deepwood build is better. You could obviously go for more energy recharge, but yeah, whatever. And then she's using Deepwood, right? I really do wish that Emilie was like, just something more damage, something, because like, again, I think maybe yesterday I couldn't necessarily convey everything because I had spent like an hour recording and stopping because I kept going like way too hard on Emilie. And I don't know what it was. I genuinely don't know. I would get carried away and I would just trash on Emilie so much that it's just like, she's just, man. All right. But I think the main issue with her is that she doesn't buff any teams, right? Again, the only team where she is the best in slot for is Kinich. That is the only team. Now, I didn't even do the 5th hit this video, I don't think, right? Just because for some reason Genshin hates me. I don't know. But that's one tech that is pretty easy, I would say, to do. I don't get why I can't do it, And Stygian is just like, no. I will go ahead and I'll see if I can show it off at least. I really don't know why I can't do it. Because you can do it without doing the burst, by the way, if you don't know. You can do the 5th hit technique without doing the burst for Kinich. All right, we're gonna pop this, and we're gonna have this thing. Okay, well that's perfect. All right, yeah, okay, 2, yeah, okay, 3 and 4, yeah. So I only got 4 there. Like, it is just as simple as you're at very low energy, right? There's not a lot of energy. And I would love if we had like a way to, okay, there we go. All right, there you go, Emilie. All right, let's see. All right, yeah, 43 is a lot more acceptable. And if she's doing what? She did like 4 of those, so that's 160,000 damage. And so 2, 3, 4. I was so close on it. I was so close. I could have. I feel like if I had used his burst, we would have gotten it. But I know for a fact you can do it without using his burst. And that's one thing, Kinich, I feel like definitely you kind of want the energy recharge for, but you can't get the energy recharge at the start at all. Because, if you want to get his shield down as fast as possible. I guess you do have like 30 seconds to spare. So you could just, switch in with Kinich. But the 5th hit for a lot of the times, I just don't even do. I know for a fact if I wanted to do Dire, I would have to do the 5th hit technique. So that is one thing. Like, Emilie is allowing us to do that, and Emilie is also adding a lot of damage. It's 500,000 is a lot of damage in a vacuum until it's like, oh, she does 500,000 damage on Kinich's team, and that's all she does, and that's what makes her best in slot. That's the issue. That is the issue, because you add 500,000 to a burn Arlecchino team, and it's like, oh, whoa, what was the point of that? Like, Fiorina and Yelan can do that. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, this character doesn't, she doesn't excel on any team beyond Kinich's. Kinich is the only team where she is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick that for my best in slot, Like, that really is the only one. And the issue is, another big issue is, Fiorina is a very competent replacement for Emilie. Right now, the Lava Dragon wants burn and hates Hydro, so it's very, it's not a competent replacement right now. But as soon as it becomes like the Papilla or something, right? Or not the Papilla. Papilla's probably gonna still want. But if you're not using pure burn, the Papilla's shield might be a little weaker or a little stronger against it. So, yeah, this character, a 500,000 damage character, 600,000 damage character, whichever one you want to say, that's not enough, right? She should be a competent option. As a 5-star limited character, she should be a competent option to where, oh, I can use her on Arlecchino's team, and I won't feel awful, right? And it won't feel awful. Granted, had this been, Burn Arlecchino versus, Vape Arlecchino, right? I could understand that, because Emilie came out before Melt Arlecchino was a thing, really. So if it was like oh, well, we have that, even, I would still trash talk her, but I mean, there would at least be some way you can look at it and be like, well, Emilie wasn't made for this, right? But the thing is, Emilie was made for this. Emilie was made to go against a Vape Arlecchino, and she just doesn't, right? So the only thing that I can think of is that they knew Kinich was going to be really, really good, and they wanted to make him really, really good without Emilie. So they kind of just had to nerf Emilie because they knew what Kinich was going to do. This is the issue. I had said this, previously. This is the issue of them trying to release supports for already good characters, right? And it's not a reactionary thing. right? Because Emilie, had this been a reverse of like, oh, Emilie is an electro applicator and she applies electro for Kinich to do quicken, that would be a different story because Emilie would be a lot more necessary. Granted, you do have Fischl and Miko, but, just thinking about it for a second, like if it was that way around, it might be better. And the reason why I say it might be better is because we have Mavuika and Silali. It's very clear that, Mavuika was not held back because of Silali. It's very clear. And I think the main thing is, or at least it doesn't feel like that, right? Mavuika wasn't, we don't make her too strong, or I guess it would be the other way around. Silali wasn't held back because of the strength of Mavuika. The reason for this being is because Silali has application that, triples Mavuika's damage, right? Melt is an insane reaction, and Mavuika uses it. So Silali being able to apply that element and have Mavuika do the reaction makes Silali a lot more necessary and not nearly as replaceable on her team. And it's a double-edged sword of like, oh, well, free-to-plays now have to summon for Silali if they want the real Mavuika team. And then also, this character isn't good enough, she's not worth your summons. Like, if that was the case with Silali, I feel like a lot of people, it wouldn't be fun if every single support that came out to support a specific character, didn't, make those characters way stronger, right? Like, we can look back. Shenhe, we can talk about her. She was good for the time because she was adding like 500. Shenhe was adding like 500,000 damage, right? So that's how, we're talking about a 2.0 character. We're talking about a 2.0 character doing the same effectiveness of Emilie, right? That's the kind of where we're at, where I'm like, 500,000 damage isn't actually that good. We've kind of been past that for a while. Shenhe, she came out, and again, when Cryo was good, and then this character aged so poorly because Cryo became bad, and then this character then became limited, could not keep up with 4.0 power creep, or even, well, I don't know necessarily how well Freeze aged in 3.0, but certainly I do think that Shenhe did not keep a lot of her value, because of she was held back because Cryo was already good, right? She has a trigger quota because Cryo was already good. I feel like if this was a modern day Freeze support, who desperately needed to buff Freeze, otherwise, there would basically be nothing really that you could do. Yeah. This is modern day Shenhe, basically. Simple as that. Like, this is what we have now. I really do feel like Emilie should have been a little better. She does fine in Stygian. I get that this video was kind of about Stygian, and I've kind of rambled on a little bit, but I really do feel like Emilie, she is like probably a top 10 luxury pool in Genshin Impact. Like, if I were to say, oh, you got like the primo gems, and your account's so good, you don't have to worry about nothing you summon on, and you pull this character, like, she at least has a purpose, right, to buff Kinich, right? I can see that she has the purpose with duoing with Kinich, but that is her sole purpose, and other characters can replace her effectively. So that is where my issue lies, is that this is just, she just doesn't have like a true crowning team or a set of teams, and her oh, I'm gonna be the best in slot on this team, it's far behind, right? It'd be different if, like, again, Burn Arlecchino was a little bit behind Vape, then we can make an excuse, or maybe it would need to be a little better, but we don't have that. We don't have it to where Burn Arlecchino is a little bit worse than Vape. It's by far a lot worse than Vape, and that's purely because Emilie, man, she just doesn't do enough. So yeah, I absolutely have to say this character, she has her purpose, but it ain't a good one. It's hard to rank her because she's not necessarily, I don't know if bad is a good descriptor of what she is, because she's not, I feel like, bad, but she's not like, she really, I don't know, man. It's tough to rank her because it's like, is she bad? I feel like I could say yes, but I also feel like I could say no, because she is, providing Kinich with the 5th hit and burning, and then all the things, energies, everything, right? She is doing that when she's paired with Kinich, but that's it, and that's not a lot. So, I could very easily say, mid, right? But I feel like even mid supports in Genshin, I don't know. I feel like she'd be like a closer to the top of mid, maybe. I don't know. I would have to actually sit down and look at the other supports in Genshin. Like, I would say Shinha right now is better than her. If you believe me, I would say Shinha's better than her. Yeah. We basically need Miss Coffee for burn. we basically need Miss Coffee for burn. That way, Emilie's damage, I mean, it's already 500,000. If we go ahead and default have, like, Denjo Rezo on that team, oh my god. Yeah, it's gonna be good. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.